When you think of a woman in the Middle Ages, your imagination likely conjures up a beautiful lady in a tall tower or a princess waiting for a knight at a ball. But this Hollywood fairy tale was a reality for only 1% of the population. If you had been born an Englishwoman in 1400, your tower would most likely have been a crooked mud brick hut, which you shared not with handsome princes, but with filthy livestock and legions of parasites. You wouldn't smell roses. Your world would be saturated with the stench of rotting organic matter, sewage, and acrid smoke from which there was no escape. To recreate this unfiltered world, we analyzed archaeological reports, PhD research on daily life in England, and authentic records from those years, using neural networks to reconstruct the faces of women whose names have been erased from history for centuries. Your morning in the Longhouse, a long hut made of straw and mud, did not begin with washing, but with a struggle for air. The walls here had no windows, and the single hearth in the center of the room had no chimney, turning your dwelling into a giant stone oven filled with miasma and suffocating soot. The animals in the same room were your only source of warmth on cold British nights, but their presence meant living constantly surrounded by feces and stench. Sleep brought no relief. Your bed, consisting of a straw mattress, was a perfect incubator for lice, fleas, and rats. The straw in the mattresses was changed extremely rarely, sometimes only once a year, and entire ecosystems would develop inside them. You would wake up covered in red bite marks, which noble ladies tried to hide under toxic lead white, but you didn't even have that dubious luxury. Social distancing in the 1400s was an impossible dream. You slept in a pile with your family and servants, and if one person fell ill with typhus or cholera, by morning everyone was infected. Your breakfast was yet another test of your immune system. Forget about clean water. Wells were often located just a few meters from cesspools and latrines, toilets from which sewage flowed directly into the moat or pooled at the base of the walls. Drinking such water meant signing your own death warrant from dysentery. That is why, first thing in the morning, you and your children drank ale. Alcohol was the only available way to disinfect the liquid even a little. Your main dish was pottage, a gray, watery porridge with peas or weeds, and a piece of coarse black bread which was often moldy or infested with insect larvae. Meat was the food of lords, and spices like cloves or pepper were used at feasts only to mask the taste of rot and rancid fat. But the most dangerous part of your life was the role of a mother. In a world where the concept of sterility did not exist, childbirth turned into a cruel lottery with death as the prize. Infections were transmitted directly from the unwashed hands of midwives or doctors, turning a hut or even a castle into a tomb for a young woman. If you fell ill from exhausting labor or the cold, butcher's medicine offered bloodletting with dirty instruments based on the theory of humoral imbalance. Such procedures often killed the patient faster than the disease itself, causing sepsis within days. You lived in a political and social cage as the property of your father or husband, deprived of a voice even in matters concerning your own body. Looking today at these photorealistic faces recreated by AI, we feel a mixture of horror and pity. But here lies the main question. How did women of that time cope with this psychologically, without antibiotics, personal space, or any guarantees for tomorrow? Today, we are protected by filters of comfort, sterile hospitals, food delivery, and central heating, which have made our psyche soft and incredibly vulnerable. Perhaps those we consider barbarians possessed a form of supreme resilience that we have completely lost. They saw the world in its most honest light, without the illusions that blind us today. You wouldn't survive an hour in their world, but could they find meaning in ours, so sterile, safe, and frighteningly lonely? What other side of history should we uncover with the help of AI? Write in the comments which figures from the past inspire the greatest awe in you, and subscribe to the channel to see the unvarnished truth.